Welcome to Meteorology 10. Our class is on weather and climate processes. Before I jump ahead, let me just introduce myself. My name's Terrence Mullins. My preferred pronouns are he, him, and his. And you can just call me Terrence. You don't have to call me anything fancy if you don't want to. But let's jump in. So, a little bit more about me before we get further into the course. I am a California native. I am from Long Beach, California, so I'm from Southern California. Not a Dodgers fan, so, don't drop the class because you think I'm a Dodgers fan. I hate the Dodgers. But I was, however, a community college student, like many of you, and, well, like all of you if you're taking my class at De Anza. And I got my associate's degree there after spending 4 years there. So if you feel concerned at all or anything about how long you've been at De Anza or how long you've been in a community college, don't be. And I went to Long Beach City College, which is one of the top community colleges in Southern California. Not as good as De Anza, though. And I got my associate's degree in physical sciences down there. And once I was done there, I moved right down the street to California State University, Long Beach, where I got my bachelor's degree in mathematics with a second major in physical geography. But out of all of those things that I did, the one thing I enjoyed really doing, and the one thing I've always been passionate about, is weather. And whether it's why the wind blows, why rain falls, or any of that stuff, and many of which we're going to talk about this quarter. And so I wanted to take that passion to the next level, and so I ended up moving up here to the Bay Area, and I got my master's degree in meteorology at San Jose State University, which San Jose State University is the only CSU system with a meteorology program. So that was something that was really exciting for me to do. Once I finished that, though, I ended up moving back to Southern California and taught as what's called an adjunct instructor part-time at several different community colleges. But then the Bay Area called me back, and now I'm back up here. So that's a little bit about me. I do want to know a little bit more about you. That's going to be your first assignment of the quarter, is a discussion board. We'll get to that in a moment. But let's talk about this course just a little bit. So one of the things that's really interesting about meteorology as compared to chemistry, physics, biology, and many of the other sciences that you're used to is that while many of those things are appreciated or understood or experienced on a theoretical level or on a microscopic level or even all the way down to a molecular level, the fact of the matter is that weather actually is in our everyday life, and it has pretty large influences on our everyday life, from the clothes you wear to the job you work to your economy to things like how expensive your electric bill is to what kind of foods you eat. Believe it or not, weather impacts so much of your life. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this class. We're going to be talking about weather. So if you didn't know yet, some people hear the word meteorology and they think something about asteroids or planets. Well, no, we're actually going to be talking about weather. And so that's really what this course is about. So, and there's a lot of cool stuff that we're going to cover throughout this course. We're going to talk about things like why it rains. Why does water fall out of the sky? Why doesn't it rain so much here in the Bay Area? Why does it rain more in other places? Why does it snow in some places? Why does it hail in others? How do thunderstorms form? Why do we get tornadoes, or why don't we get tornadoes? Why is a place like the Caribbean islands being influenced or being badly affected by severe hurricanes while we don't have to worry about that here in California? What's this whole El Nino thing that everybody talks about. And even more so, what's climate change? So those are just a few of the things we're going to be talking about throughout this quarter. Now, with that said, there are a few do's and don'ts, ins and outs, ups and downs that we need to talk about before we can really get into the fun part of this class. So, first thing, let's talk about the textbook. So, the textbook for this class is called Essentials of Meteorology by C. Donald Ahrens, another fellow community college teacher. He used to teach at Modesto Community College. He got his master's degree from San Jose State as well, so kind of like me. Maybe I'm his successor, who knows. But this is the book right here. This is the most recent edition. This is the 7th edition. Pro tip, you don't need the 7th edition. You can go and get the 6th edition, which looks something more like this. Or you can go grab the 5th edition, which looks like this. This is actually the textbook that I used when I took this class. I'm even cool with you getting the 4th edition. The idea here is that, look, I get it. Textbooks are ridiculously expensive. I don't want you to pay $150 or $160 for a textbook. Go find a cheap copy, a digital copy. Do whatever you've got to do to get your hands legally. I can't advocate anything illegal, but legally get your hands on one of these textbooks. So that's one thing I really need to stress. And this being an online class, having the textbook is a pretty big deal. The next thing I wanted to stress is, before I get into the ins and outs of this class, is if you're feeling overwhelmed at any point in this class, this is a science class, there's a lot of information that you're going to be absorbing. I want to stress from this moment that I am here to help you. You are the reason why I'm here at De Anza. You're the reason why I teach. You're the reason why I get up in the morning, is to help you. So don't ever be afraid to send me an email. I don't care if the question you need to ask me is, what's 2 plus 2? If it helps you to learn and understand meteorology, if it gets you there, we're going to get you there. All right? And this is true all throughout the quarter. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I promise you, those that do reach out to me, they usually end up walking away pretty happy. So, I make sure that I'm more than happy to do what I can to help. So please don't worry about that. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the course webpage. So, before I continue, I'm going to assume that you know about Canvas, that you've either used Canvas before, or that you're going to attend some kind of online training for Canvas. If neither of those is true, you might want to go to Technology Services and get the Canvas training. There's more information on that in the class schedule that explains what kind of orientation you need to go through. Or you can also stop by my office at, my office is S48A. So I'm more than happy to walk you through it as well. But let me at least take you to the course webpage, and then we'll talk about the syllabus for a couple of moments, and then we'll dive in. All right. So, that's for my other class. Okay, so, as you can see, when I'm not teaching, I'm doing hurricane stuff. This is Hurricane Maria, which recently hit Puerto Rico, but we'll save that for another time this quarter. Here is the course webpage. And so, to get to the course webpage, what you do is you log into Canvas, and when you log into Canvas, you get a page that looks something like this, your dashboard. So when you log in, you get something that looks kind of like this. And it'll have all your different courses on it. And For those of you taking my online class, this is the course you're going to click on. F17, Met D010, that just means Met 10. Weather and Climate, section number 65Z, which is the online course. You're going to click on that, and that's going to take you to our course webpage. Now, just to make life a little bit easier for you, this is what this page looks like for me as a faculty member, but let's see how it's going to look like from you. To get to there, I go to Settings, and then I click on Student View. You don't have to do that, you'll already have it. So here it is. When you first log on to our course webpage, you're going to see something that looks like this. Basically, all that you're going to get here is just any announcements, any due dates. Those will be over here in the Coming Up section. Announcements will be right here. Any other recent activity, any changes I make, anything I add to the class, anything I take away, it'll all be listed here. But the one thing I want you to do is on at least every few times or a couple of days a week, every so often, I want you to log on to this page and go over here to announcements and click on any new announcements. This is where I'm going to share all the pertinent information, whether it's information about a midterm, whether it's information about an assignment due or an extension or extra credit, which yes, I do offer extra credit, about any kind of orientations or meet and greets, anything like that. I'm going to put that right here on announcements. As you can see, we already have an announcement up. It's right here. Tells you everything you need to know. Tells you about how the class is structured. I'll leave that mostly for you to read. And then also on here is the course syllabus. Now, before I jump into this, let me show you the other pages that you're going to be using pretty commonly in this course. In this course, everything is going to be divided up into components that we call modules. To find those modules, you click right here on Modules, and these haven't published yet simply because the class hasn't started yet, but once Monday comes and the class starts, these will all be up and running. And all you have to do to access any information, any components of a module, you'll see them listed under the module name. The first module we'll be working on for the first week is Module 1, Introduction to Weather. And here you have several different pages, and I do expect you to look at each one of these pages. The first page here is a series of lecture videos. So these are the things where I actually go through the content in a PowerPoint-like style. So probably very similar to what you guys get in an in-person class, but you get to watch it at your own leisure from your cell phone or wherever you're at. So that's right here. Then down here, these next two pages, or these next three pages actually, these are actually module assignments. The first one is a discussion. These next two are what are called module activities. And the assignment is, or the discussion, each week there will be a discussion question that I will want you to answer. Once you answer it, you can get up to 10 points on it. And the guideline is you get up to 8 points for answering it and up to 2 points for commenting on somebody else's post. And just word of warning, a lot of people forget to comment on other people's posts. They lose those 2 points. Those are 2 very easy points to get. And then the module activities, those are kind of the homework-like component of the course. This is the lecture-like component. This is like the participation component. These are like the homework component, and it's not going to be read a book and write this. It's going to be activities. You're going to be doing things like looking at weather maps. You're going to be looking at things like looking at weather models, looking at soundings, and so on. And we'll talk more about that in the next few weeks. Then everything down here at the bottom is all evaluation related. These have to deal with the quiz. So for every module, you're going to have a discussion, 1 or 2 activities, and a quiz. Now, for the quiz, what I actually put up is a review sheet. This reviews everything that you've covered in the lectures as well as in the activities. I also put up a practice quiz, so this kind of helps you prepare for the quiz itself. And once you've watched the videos, once you've done all the activities and everything, you're then ready to take the quiz. And the way the quiz works is it's online, it's open book, it's open note, it's open whatever. It's not open friend, but the only thing is you only have 20 minutes. And so, and the idea there is that if I give you unlimited time, you're just going to have all the answers in front of you anyway. But at the same time, they're not that hard. All right? And so every module is structured this way. You'll have a discussion, you'll have an activity, and you'll have a quiz. And each one of these modules totals up to 50 points. 10 points for the introduction, 20 points for the activity, and 20 points for the quiz. These modules will be assigned on Monday morning at midnight, and they're due the following Sunday at 11:59 p.m. I do accept them late. However, every day it's late, or every part of a day that it's late, is 10% off. And I only allow you up to 2 days to turn it in late. So there's no turning it in 3 weeks late, because by then myself and everybody else has moved on to 4 modules down the road. So there's none of that. Now, with that said, I also do assign 1 makeup module at the end of the course. So if you missed a module activity or missed a whole module, if you bombed a quiz and you're stressed about it, there is going to be opportunities to make up module work. So it's not do or die if you miss 1 module activity. But at the same time, you want to stay on top of them. All right? And then in weeks 6 and 12, which are listed, the dates are actually listed on the syllabus, which we'll get to in a moment, we will have our midterm and our final exam. For each of those weeks, rather than having a module, you'll spend the whole week preparing for the exam. And what I'm actually going to do is for both the midterm and the final, I'm also going to offer some on-campus study sessions or some teleconference study sessions, and we'll figure that out as that time comes. All right, so that's all that you need to know as far as the online website. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, please come talk to me. I'm more than happy to let you know what's up. One thing I will say is that most of these assignments will either be graded automatically or I grade them quickly and give you the scores back. And all of your grades will be here on Canvas. So you'll always know how you're doing. And if there's something that's missing, I just need to get it caught up, get it graded, and get it in here. So all your grade information will be on here too. And just yours, just for you to see. All right? All right. Let's just talk about some of the do's and don'ts as far as the syllabus is concerned real quick, and then that'll be it. Okay, so here's the syllabus in PDF format, just so everybody and anybody can open it up. And there it is right there. Here's all my contact information, my phone number. Email me first, that's usually easier. My email address, mullinsterrence@fhda.edu. My office hours, and so on. Now, let me just say a few things about contacting me before we move on. First, don't call me. I'm just not a phone person. I've got a phone, I got a voicemail. But if you want a more quick response, shoot me an email. And the reason why is because if you call me at 9 o'clock at night, I'm not going to get the voicemail till the next day, and if I'm on my way to my morning class, I might not have a chance to check it in time. So if you email me, you're going to get a much quicker response. The other thing is that Canvas does have its own message system, and while you're welcome to use that, I check Canvas 2 or 3 times a day. I check my actual FHDA email 2 or 3 times an hour. So you're more likely to get a quicker response by emailing me here at mullinsterrence@FHDA. Again, the other way is completely fine. I might not get back to you as quick. All right. Introduction, I'll leave that to you. Course description, I've already talked about that. Course website, we've done that. Here are the student learning outcomes. Memorize them if you have to. We have an accreditation team visiting the campus in a few weeks. But these are the things that I hope that you get out of this class by the end of the quarter. The textbook, we already went over that. Contacting me, we just covered that. There's all this stuff about the online class. What's the difference between an online class and a traditional lecture class? If you've taken an online class before, you're probably pretty well versed in how they work. If you haven't, I recommend stopping and going through this really quickly. It is pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory. The only thing I do want to warn you about is if you're a procrastinator like me, I'm shooting this the Friday before the quarter starts, so hey, we're all like that. But if you're a procrastinator, I strongly recommend giving yourself at least some extra time before a deadline. So let's say the deadline for the module activity is 11:59 p.m. Don't wait till 11 p.m. to start the activity. The reason why is because if there's any kind of glitch, if Canvas is down, if there's a blackout or something like that, and you come to me and say, Terrence, I started it at 11 o'clock on Sunday night and there was a blackout, no dice. You've had the whole week to do it. So that is one word of warning. You are free to work on these on your own leisure, but late work is late work, regardless of the reason, because you will have a full week to do the module. I don't know of anybody, at least here in the Bay Area, who has had a week-long blackout. Now, unfortunately, if you're somebody who lives on the East Coast and experienced the hurricane and everything, it might be a little bit different. But, that would be something that would affect all, it'd be more widespread. So with that said, if basically what I'm just trying to get at here is get it in as quickly as you can. Don't wait to the last minute. The other reason why I recommend you don't wait to the last minute is, let's say you have a question. Let's say something in the module activity confuses you and you need help. Well, if you email me at 11:30 o'clock on Sunday night, there's a good chance that I'm going to be in bed counting sheep and getting my Z's on. And if that's the case, then I might not get your email in time, might not be able to respond, might not be able to help you. So basically what I'm saying, just don't wait to the last minute. You are responsible for turning it in on time. And there's no real exceptions for that. As far as attendance is concerned, because this is an online class, there is no physical attendance that you have to do. However, I am aware of when students are logging on and when they're completing work and so on. And so if you haven't logged on at least once a week, then that's when problems are going to happen. I recommend at least twice a week, and that's the bare minimum. If you fail to log on by the end of the first week, you are dropped because of non-participation. And basically it's going to be that same thing. If you don't log on at least once a week, you're out of the class. So, unless there's some very extenuating circumstance. Okay. Next thing, grievances. I'm human. I make mistakes. We all do. If there's something that I do or say, or if there's something, some kind of mistake that happened, or anything like that, if you feel like I didn't correctly grade a paper or anything like that, please come talk to me. One of the worst things that I as a teacher would experience is I totally botched somebody's grade and nothing was said about it. They leave me a bad review on Rate My Professors, and then other students see that and it ends up being a big deal when, to be honest with you, I am not going to judge you. There's none of that. So if something doesn't seem right, please just come talk to me, and I'm more than happy to either explain to you what's up or fix it. If I make a mistake, more than happy to fix it. So, or anything else like that. If you have another student that's been bugging you or offending you, please let me know and we can get it taken care of. Okay? Next thing, important dates. These are all the important dates. I put holidays on here as well. This is an online class. We don't have any physical meetings. But last day to drop, last day to add, midterm, final, those are all on here. The midterm has a set date. That's Friday, November 17th. The final has a set date. That's Friday, December 15th. So, and you'll get more instructions about those as they come. As far as grading and assignments are concerned, the way it works, there's 10 modules. Each one's worth 50 points, so that's 500 points. And I split them down to the discussions, activities, and quizzes. Then you have the midterm and the final. Each one of those is 100 points a pop. So that gives you a total of 700 points. I won't deviate from this. So this class is out of 700 points. And then the grading scale, it's a standard 90, 80, 70, 60 scale. Only difference is I do commonly let a C be a 65. So I do kind of shift a C downward a little bit. And then with the whole plus minus thing, to me, I've never been a big fan of 90% as an A minus. To me, if you're doing 90% in the class, that is excellent. So to me, 90 is an A. 88 is an A minus. 78 is a B minus. 68, well, there's no C minuses, so that doesn't matter. But 90 or 88 is an A minus, 78 is a B minus, and so on. And so I give pluses and minuses within 2% of the next grade level. Already gone over the late makeup policy. As far as disabilities are concerned, if you have any kind of accommodation that you need, whether it's more test time, whether it's an interpreter, whether it's any kind of anything, please don't hesitate to reach out for help. Going to Deanza's DSPS and their DSS programs, they are really good people there. They will take good care of you. And I'm more than happy to accommodate anything that's necessary. The only thing is we do have to go through official channels for legal reasons, but anything you need, please let me know. And then finally, cheating and plagiarism. I don't like talking about it, but unfortunately I have to. On form questions, you are not allowed to just copy stuff off of Wikipedia. You're not allowed to copy from other students. Your work is your work. It is what you say. It is what you do. It is in your words. Anything I find that's found from a book or a website that isn't properly cited gets dinged for plagiarism. And the way that I ding for plagiarism is the first offense is a 0. The second offense is much steeper consequences. That's when we get the school involved, and there ends up being this whole thing. And I've had to do it before. I don't like doing it, so let's just not go there. All right, then down here's the schedule. The schedule is subject to change, but I usually try to stay as close to it as possible. We have a module every week. As I mentioned, it comes online Monday at 12 a.m. in the morning. due the following Sunday at 11:59 the next Sunday. As for the midterm and the final, I put those at the end of those respective weeks. So the midterm is at the end of week 6, and I have it on Friday, November 3rd, and then the final is Friday, December 15th. And I put the final there, that way all your other finals are out of the way. So, and the way that those will work is you'll have a 24-hour window of time. The test will open up at 12 a.m. that morning, close at 11:59 p.m. that night. And the reason why I have such a limited window of time is it's so easy if somebody, prints off a copy of the test and then before you know it, everybody has it. And so that's why I have to limit that time window. All right, so that's everything that you need to know for this course. That's sort of the long-winded welcome, but I promise you it's going to be a great quarter. Most people do really well in this class. Most people really enjoy it. If you have any concerns, if you're nervous about something, if you think you want to drop or something like that, please drop me a line. Like I said, email's the easiest, but anyway, I am more than happy. As long as you don't show up to my house with pitchforks, you're fine. So anyway, you need to get a hold of me. And just know that I'm rooting for you guys. We're going to talk about some great stuff this quarter. It's going to be a really fun class. So let's do it. So that's everything for now. I'm Terrence Mullins. Welcome to Meteorology. We have a fun quarter ahead, and